Good evening. Hello, boys and girls. How are you? So, tonight we will continue the work on combat, and I fixed some issues since the last time that we had the chance to stream. In particular, I fixed the roll animation, which is now fully working, which is very nice. And I also fixed some problems that I had with the animation root motion. In particular, hello Ajed, hey. Now the rolling is actually one of the possible combat options, and in particular, I think we have. I asked it to Elnwind, to Davide, if we could help to create a short document describing, all the options that we want to have in combat. And he started to do that. 1 second, I'm searching if I can. I'm searching the document. I will not show you the full document, but just I want to show you a small extract out of it. Which is which is just this part. So let me just open up a new file. So one of the things that we said is that during combat the player will have the option, without restriction to the requirement, to do the following actions, right? And so one action will be attack, the other will be to roll, the other will be to move, the other will be to block, to use special maneuvers like special attacks, and to cast a spell. So these are the things that I think our character can do. Now I don't know if there are all, or we will create something more, but for example we had in the original plane shift we had combat stances. Combat stances were let's say the predefined setting which would balance the attack and defense of your character. So if you want to go in a very defensive combat mode, you could, moving some of your agility from attack to defense, or vice versa. If you wanted to go like a berserker, so like attacking, all your focus on attacking, you could remove a bit of your defense bonus and give it to the attack, which I think was a good concept, but is a bit of a static concept in the sense that you decide the setting, you decide which is the combat stance, and then you leave your character to fight, which was pretty much what the old system was doing, right? But I think we don't want that anymore. We want to have a more interactive and more, say, engaging combat system. So where you are actually clicking more and moving more and deciding what to do. And so I think this list is a pretty good list. Now the attack, the pure attack, let's say, will be attack with the current weapon. If you have two weapons in hand, you maybe decide to attack, with both of them. I don't know that yet. Or if you have a bow, obviously you will have a different range kind of attack. But in general, the block will be done with your shield, or even with your arms, or with whatever you have. Could even be with a secondary smaller secondary weapon. But yeah, this is what we want to implement, right? And obviously, the same will be for the NPC. So also the NPC will have all these capabilities and all these abilities exactly the same way as players. Now we need to put some artificial intelligence to even a simple one, that triggers this kind of different moves and attacks and blocks for the NPC. Now I think that the most critical, the most weak, I would say, the most weak point of the previous version of Plane Shift, the one that you can play today, is really combat. Combat is more RPG oriented, you know. So you leave your character to fight, and your character is fighting purely based on his abilities. But your chances to modify the result are anyway relatively small as a player, because you are mostly using the abilities of your character, like if you have it on a pen and paper kind of RPG, right? While here, what we want to do, we want to give more power to the player and give more options for him to affect the final result of combat. Now, why when I connect is always night, by the way? Strange, but there is something going on here. So my character can actually roll to the ground, you say. So I can roll in place. Now the ending of the animation is not that perfect, because actually I have adapted an animation that was used for two-handed combat. And if you can see, as soon as the animation starts, the character puts himself like in a like if he had a weapon and or a shield in his hand. So, and then he returns to the kind of position for a second, and then he goes back to the normal one. So you see that he kind of brings his hands together, at the end. But it's okay. We can change this animation. The point was not to make the animation perfect. The point was to ensure that we could implement a roll animation, and this roll animation would make sense. Now, the problem that we have at the moment is that the roll animation can be triggered at any time. By the way, these are kind of new trees, right? Much better than the one we had in the past. So, for example, if I jump and press R, right, my character is rolling in the air, which maybe doesn't make a lot of sense. Or if I continue to roll, there is like no limitation on the amount of rolls that you can do, while maybe this rolling should be allowed only a certain amount of times in a minute, or maybe you should have a kind of a cooldown, or I don't know. I mean, we can decide. You can decide how to limit it. Another thing that is not very good at the moment is that if you press R and then in the middle of the animation you press R again, the character kind of restarts. And if I press R continuously, like I'm doing now, I'm pressing R, my character doesn't even start the animation and continues to be in this stupid position. So yeah, I think we need a kind of a cooldown to the animation. Otherwise, it will look a bit stupid like this. It looks pretty stupid, but let's say for now, I mean, we don't want to make things perfect. We want just to make things playable, and I think is good. So if you have an enemy in front of you and you want to avoid one of his hits, I think you can easily, turn around and roll, or turn to the side and roll, and so avoid one of his hits. And the same thing can do in theory the NPC. Now, I didn't script yet the artificial intelligence to do that, but there is something that we can do together. So if I go to any NPC, right, and we assume that he's kind of attacking me, I can try to dodge, his attacks, go to the back, attack him from the back, and he will try to follow me, and so on. It's pretty interesting that he jumped. I think there was a bit of a collision between me and him, and so he was forced to jump. That's interesting. But yeah, if I try to go in combat mode, and I don't know, I have no idea why he's jumping, by the way. If I go in combat mode and try to attack him, for some reason he's always saying that I'm too far. I think the reason is that's interesting. I think that that movement has been only client side. No? It's possible. I think the character is still there. Anyway, who cares? This character, I think, is unfortunately not in a good position to fight me at the moment. Let me try this one. Why is always saying that I'm too far to attack? No idea. Ah, sorry, I'm not. I forgot to make myself vulnerable. If I don't make myself vulnerable, these guys will never see me, and they will never try to attack me back. So that's the reason. I think. Still not trying to answer. Yeah, that you are too far away, I think is caused unfortunately by the... And I think that NPC is probably not scripted to answer. Maybe this one is. I think there are two NPC that are scripted to answer. I think that one can be this one. Doesn't care at all. I care now. So what do we need to fix? We need to fix exactly this kind of movement. You see that he's trying to attack even when I'm far away. And the other problem is that when he's stopping, he's kind of thinking for 1 or 2 seconds. You see he stops now. And then he's thinking for like 2 or 3 seconds before doing something else. Okay? And that is not something that we want. We want him to, you know, attack me immediately. That is the reason of this is that because due to performance issue, no, not for performance issue, just due to the fact that I wanted to debug, you know, the mechanism a bit easier, I slow it down the tick of the brain of NPC to every 3 seconds, and so that's why it looks like it's pretty dumb. You know, it's pretty dumb because it's actually reacting only every 3 seconds to any perceptions that he get from the outside, right? And there is a problem. The other thing is that when he's trying to chase me, he stops. You see now he's trying to attack me somehow. But again, this 3 seconds is pretty bad. So the first thing we want to do, we want to switch these 3 seconds to 200 milliseconds, which was in reality the original value, right, that we had for our NPC tick. So this we need to do immediately, because otherwise we will not be able really to simulate what our NPC is doing. I think we have it under NPC const. Should be somewhere here. There should be a tick. No, it should be inside NPC const, but game minutes ticks. No. Then it's not here. Then it's under NPC brain. Well, I would suggest anyway to move all the constant in the same place. Otherwise, we will become crazy. Right? At the moment, they are not in the same place, but I think we should. Probably is here inside NPC brain. Yeah. NPC brain trick at the moment is 3. 3 is really a lot. I mean, 3 seconds is too much. Let me try to put something like 0.2. I think it should anyway be a float, so there should be no problem. By the way, this define, I think it should go somewhere else, but I think we have it inside NPC brain. There it is. Delay ticks. Delay ticks should be a float, I hope. Let me see, but I hope it's a float value. If it's an integer, we have a problem. Come on. It's in the same class. Is a time t. Is a time t. Why is it time t? Because our I think we had a conversion of time t, no? Ticks is always. The problem is that I cannot use I cannot use seconds. I need milliseconds. There is no chance. I need milliseconds. Queue event. So we should have. So that is the game event. Okay, game event is a super class for all our triggered event and scheduled events. But we have, if I go, I think in that case, what was it? It was UPS NPC tick. Let me check this class. I think this class is the one that we want. I would like the implementation of this. Okay, is here. Actually, the ticks are an integer. That's pretty bad. This may be also the reason why I did it this way. Just a bit surprised that game event. Wait 1 second. Game event is where? Game event is inside util, right? Game event is inside util. Let me check the implementation of this. Trigger ticks. Trigger ticks, I think, is still an integer or something. It's still a time t. Now this way we will not go anywhere. So we need to change. We need to change it to float. There is no chance. I'm just trying to evaluate the impact of the change, right? Well, I can move it to 1 second, so I can move it from 3 to 1. Will be already smarter, you know. But the point is that we really need it. So I'm pushing the event, set timer, delay text. Yeah, this one is the variable that I wanted to have, that I wanted to see. Exactly. So the set timer is taking a float, obviously. So time handler, new handle, time delegate, float in rate. So the float in rate. So let me see if there is any documentation. Set timer. No, there is no great documentation on this one. There is not a great documentation. It's just saying set internal timer in rate. Let me see if this set internal timer has any better documentation. Zero documentation. Okay, nice. It doesn't have any freaking documentation. Okay. But anyway. Anyway, it's not much of a problem. So what we can do to avoid making a big change now and breaking everything is to see if we can do it only for our NPC, our UPS tick. Let me see if I can do this. I'm thinking something very evil, and this evil thing is that in my gaming queue, in my, where is it? I lost it. In my game event. No. In my event manager. I could do something very bad, but just as a test. So I could check if the event that is getting passed on is a UPS NPC tick, and if that's the case, we will pass here like 0.2. And then I will obviously change it later on. I will have to change all this class to take a float instead of time t. I think all these objects are U objects, right? So I think I can use the Unreal Cast. Yes, pretty easy. So I think I can say something like if cast of our UPS NPC tick was an NPC tick. UPS tick. No, NPC. UPS. I think it was UPS NPC tick, no? Maybe it was directly UNPC tick. No. Okay. It was UPS NPC tick. Yes. Why is not seeing this class? No idea. So if we take this event and we cast it to to this event, because it's not included. It's not included because UPS NPC tick I think is defined inside NPC brain. So we need to include NPC brain here. Otherwise, we also have to remember to remove it. Otherwise, we'll make a mess. I'm putting it now, but we will have to remove it as soon as this is done. Right? So if this one is not returning an invalid, right? Sorry, just a second because I'm confusing myself on what was the syntax for the cast. Okay. Yes, it was exactly like this, right? Yes. Yeah, just with the difference that is not initiated in parentheses. Okay, so initiated in parentheses. Okay, so if we cast this to NPC tick and it is not so in this case we will just pass in a 0.2. Okay, so sorry, the opposite, exactly the opposite. So if the cast is okay, we go for 0.2. If not, we go for okay. Now this will generate a bit of why doesn't like my UPS NPC tick if it's defined? Is it private class or something? Should not be. Just recompiling to see if this error goes away. It's taking time. So obviously this one has to be removed, okay? So it's definitely not what we want to keep. So yeah, the first time you compile it takes a bit more because the caching mechanism are not in place, are not loaded somehow. So now it's taking quite a bit, but don't lose your faith. It will become faster after this first run, okay? What is my computer doing? Nothing. I mean, it's doing a bit, but not much. Okay, started compiling. Because NPC brain is not there. NPC brain is not there because it's under what? Is under what? Is under NPC client, right? So it's under NPC client / NPC brain. So that's why he was complaining on us. Okay, compiled it, so it's okay. So now you see the error here, but in reality is not there. Let me just launch it in debug mode just to see if he arrives here, but I'm pretty sure he will. So for all our NPC ticks, the time will be 200 milliseconds instead of 3 seconds. So our NPC will react, much quicker. The problem is that we are putting a lot of burden on the CPU now, but it's okay. We only have a few NPC loaded, so it should not be a problem. But obviously, whatever goes through this cycle will have to be optimized pretty well, because considering it's executed every 0.2 seconds is yeah, you see, so it's going through, so which is nice. So event, which type of event we have? Old brain, new brain, NPC tick, fighter 5. Okay, fighter 5 is starting to think. Okay, nice. Okay, I think it's good. And then there will be also other events, which probably are, yes, like this one. This event is a weather event, and this one is executed only, yeah, that amount of seconds. I don't know how many, but delay ticks is 1, so every second is doing the weather change. By the way, I think the weather change, we can really slow it down now. So I don't know why the weather change is so quick. So we basically every for some reason, I think this one, but Q next event, yeah, I think we have delay ticks, yes. This one is again, I think this one is wrong and should be changed. We should have it as a game time. I think we can change it. Game minute in seconds. There it is. So this one should become game minutes in seconds, which is 10. Okay, we did this fix as well, which was long due, because every second we were having 1 minute going through. Like while now we have every 10 seconds 1 minute going through. So the difference between game time and real time. But anyway, we can recompile it like this. So now our NPC will be much more responsive, I hope, because every 200 milliseconds. Now the spam in the console will be pretty insane. So we have to be a bit careful on that, but because I think we will fill up logs very soon, very quick. But because every 200 milliseconds will be, if it's in debug mode, it will continuously print out his status. And considering that at the moment I'm printing out really a bunch of stuff, he may get too verbose. But it's okay. I mean, let's see what happens. But I can avoid maybe the debug mode. can avoid the debug mode, which is really, but I can just use the dump NPC to understand what he's thinking. But apart from that guy that decided to move, where is this guy going? You see there is a guy down there that decided to move. Let's go. Okay, but so if I decide to attack this guy, you must face the enemy to attack. I don't know why it's telling me this. No idea. But I will let. Sorry, I'm not vulnerable. I remember to have to click on this vulnerable, otherwise. Okay, let's see how he reacts now. Right? Seems still a bit slow in doing what he has to do. I think we are spamming the server so much that he cannot freaking. No, the server is not spammed too much, which is nice. But the reaction time is pretty similar. I can try. The thing that I see is that my character is moving with kind of a delay. You see, when I move, when I stop, there is a bit of a delay. Like, or if my position is getting. What the hell is going on? Something changed. I don't know if it's this change or the change we just did on the. I can try to do debug NPC, but I think this will spam the server a lot. Yeah. And the strange thing is that I really don't like the fact that now my character somehow, when he stops, no, here is not happening. Here is not happening. It's happening only. It's happening only when I'm close to the NPC or in that particular area. Maybe you cannot feel it through the screen, but I mean through the stream. But here, it's not happening anymore. Now it's perfect. It's not happening anymore. Let me do a dump NPC just to see if the problem is that it's spamming so much that if I do dump NPC, do nothing, fight 5. Let me see the hate list. We are in the hate list, but we are in the hate list at a very low value, only 5. Immediately, that's the point. Why it takes so much time to react? There is a kind of a delay, you know, between what he's thinking and what he's doing. Like now he has a fight at 20, but for some reason he's still not attacking me. I think there are some other rules getting into the way, you know? Like, for example, our character getting tired or things like that. I think we need to debug better this thing. I think we are not debugging it enough. I think there is a problem on debug. Okay, so I think that now is reacting every 0.2 seconds. Most likely. We have a number of issues. So the first issue is that my perception system is triggering the fact that he sees a character too often. So let me see here, but so we have the perception system, which was going through. Don't remember exactly if we're going through this or it was going through NPC character. But we had a receive. What was the name of the thingy? When we receive the fact that we see someone, we receive the perception. Well, I can go maybe under perceptions, is a bit easier. But if I go under perceptions, I should have no, not the attack. The position. No, it was the faction perception. I think we were triggering the faction perception, right? We're triggering the faction perception. One second, I don't remember, boys. I don't remember. We were triggering. Yeah, that's the problem of not working continuously on the same code. You know, when a week goes on, you have you don't remember what you did the previous week. No, so we did it like 2 weeks ago, but we added the perception. We should go. So I remember that the blueprint is doing the visual check. The visual check is going. I think from the blueprint to the character. Now I don't remember if it goes directly to PS character. Probably it goes directly there, because it's not going through the. Let me check if it's here. Play sound, receive effect, receive attack animation. There should be one which is receive player sensed or receive player something. I have to open the editor. I think I need to open the editor. Okay, let's open the editor 1 second. I don't remember the name of the function, and there are so many that if I try to search it, unless it's written here, I see something. No. Range perception, play radiation perception. Let me search this range perception. Maybe with this we can find it. Huh? Here it is. Handle perception player in range. So this one should be called. Here it is. Handle perception player. So it was not a receive. It was actually a handle. Okay. So as I was saying, we have a number of issues. The first one is that, do we have it also on controller base? No, we don't have it on controller base. So we are calling this one directly. Yeah, so one problem is that whenever we see this guy, we are triggering the whole chain of perceptions. And it is not very efficient, because if he, like every half a second, is getting the perception that he sees someone, and we are from here, we are triggering this, and then we are triggering the faction perception in the brain of the character, which, considering he's already engaged in combat with this guy, I think he should not do anything anymore. But unfortunately, we are doing trigger events. So I think the first optimization is to decide if you want to trigger this or not. Because as we see in the log, we are getting this, we are triggering this, and we are triggering this every half a second, roughly, even a bit less. Yeah, let's say every half a second. Yeah, every half a second. Exactly, every half a second. So every half a second we are triggering this, and then we are firing the perception in the brain of the character, and firing the perception is again checking all the reactions, seeing if he has to react. I mean, he's doing so much stuff. I think that is absolutely unneeded. Now the problem is, how do we decide that he should not react again to the same perception of seeing someone? Which, by the way, in this case, I think that we are. Let me see. In this case, so if I go under NPC definitions, right? No, NPC types. If I go under NPC types, and I take our fighter guy. Our fighter guy does not have any reaction to player sensed, so actually is not doing anything here. I need a better debug, because I think we are wasting a bit of our time with all these printouts, which are actually not useful at all. So, and I will tell you why. Because here it goes inside of this. Skipping perception, you see. So here is skipping the perception. Who is the bug in 20? If perception should not react, now we should react. I'm just trying to understand. Just the need for the triggered behavior. When activate the flag, it should be do nothing. An interactive flag. Yeah, exactly. The only one that we want to see is actually this line. Right? It is the one that we want to see. I mean, everything else is like stupid. Yeah, but basically the point is that our character is not reacting to anything. So on the I see something is not reacting on anything. So all this is all skipping perceptions because he doesn't have, his brain is not telling him to do something when he sees someone. Okay, so all these logs are totally useless, I would say. I mean, useless in this case, obviously, not totally useless in general. But the only one that is good is when our character gets attacked, and so in that case, he gets. Yeah, but the first thing we need to do, we need to clean up this log, otherwise it will be impossible. There is too much text for nothing. He should get an attack perception at a certain point. But what I see is that from the time that I attack to the time that he reacts, there is like, I don't know, 3-4 seconds. And now that we increase the tick time, it should not happen. It should immediately decide to attack. So I think we need to improve a bit our login system here. Otherwise, we will not, will not be able to follow it well. We could disable the site. So let's try to go at the. I think if we go at the beginning, but okay, let's do this. Let's exclude this log. Let's exclude this log from our. So this log here is very stupid. Let's remove it. Let's remove it. Let's put it to 25 or something. Okay, so which is above. I think if we stay in 15, it's probably okay. Let me see if there are other 20. There should be at least 120, no? Ah, because it depends on the log, bro. Ah! Yeah, we should definitely change also this 20 to something else. I think 20, yeah, like this one, for example. NPC debug. I think that 20 is absolutely useless at the moment for us. So we can go with 15. And I have to change this to verbose, very verbose, very, very verbose. Otherwise, I mean, with numbers is pretty bad to understand. But I think that our 15 is like the verbose thingy. This was a macro, right? Yes. I think we can go with I think we can go with 15, so excluding the 20. Okay, so let's say that we exclude the 20. So my issue is that I want to understand what happens when I attack my NPC and why it takes so much time to react, right? So it is where it starts, right? Player asks the attack on server, request attack. I'm attacking with a gold falcon, okay. I'm attacking, blah blah blah. I schedule the event. It is all the calculation, and it's okay. Now, why I don't see the reaction of the NPC here somehow? I think it is our problem, boys. I don't see Here it is, but it took so much. 210108 is where it is changing his target to me. When the NPC is changing his target to me. He's changing his target to me. But 210108 is 1 second after. Oh, it's not too low. No, it's not too slow, but but then nothing happens for so long time. Okay, let's do a few things. Number one. Let's remove the I see something. Okay, so we don't spam our logs, and we have a bit better chance to understand what is going on. Let's switch the debug mode, the debug verbosity level from 20 to 15, so we get also much less spam. And let's try to have, to see exactly the time when I'm attacking and seeing in the logs if we can add some more verbosity or some more information of what the NPC is thinking, because at the moment is not really doing good. And I want to know when, one thing that we should do is when my aggro is changing, I would like to have it printed out. I think there was one, right? There was something like adding no, not adding event, but I think there was a here it is. You saw it? No, I went through for a second. Yeah, here it is. Adding 20 need to behavior fight. Adding 5 to 8 list score. Okay, so these are the ones that we want to see. Okay, so these are the ones that are meaningful to us, because we want to see when he is realizing that I'm attacking him, and he has to answer back. So first thing first, let's go into my, I think it's inside PS characters. All the perceptions are inside PS character. I want to remove the freaking I see something, because anyway now we know that it works, so we don't need to spam it, right? Should be under perception, and it is. I see something. So this one we skip it, okay? So I don't need this thing. This is just every time it sees a character, is asking the brain if this is triggering any reaction of any kind. And this one, I think we can just remove the printout, right? So this is already spamming less. Then the second thing I want to do is when I launch my server and client, I want to modify my verbosity from 20 to 15, so we will skip all the bad stuff. Then I have to remember to make myself vulnerable, which is another important point. Because he's kind of acting so slow, you know, and actually his brain is ticking at 200 milliseconds, so it should be super fast. And so there is some. Okay, so let me click on vulnerable, otherwise. And the bug NPC, we have to change it. The bug NPC, we need to change it to the bug NPC. I want to change it to 15, right? Should not be 20. Okay, so we set it to 15. So now this guy is debugging at reasonable rate. In fact, you see that the server side we get way less spam, like no spam at all. Now, if I go in front of him, well, I can attack him from the back, so he's not even seeing me, which is even better, you know. If he doesn't see me, I'm just wondering if the advanced active delta. But you see that the advance is a bit stupid, though. The advance, I think there is something wrong in the brain tick, because you see that sometimes he's printing this, and sometimes he's not. Well, it's also true that here it doesn't say which NPC is printing this out. Like active behavior is, let me just do one check on the code. I think it should be this NPC anyway. Yeah, NPC 15. You see, this one is printed out. Yeah, this is in my brain tick. The only problem is why this is printing. I mean, I was expecting this loop. I'm a bit confused. Why this loop is this should be done on brain tick, right? This should be done on brain tick. Yeah, behavior set advance. Behavior set advance should be at brain tick. Now, if I look at the log, though, it's not really kind of even, you know? So, like, active behavior is should be every brain tick. But look at this. Look at this. Like, here is a 2807, and then the next one is at 2810, so it's 3 seconds later. Then this one is again 3 seconds later. It's always 3 seconds. Why is always 3 seconds? I put 200 milliseconds. There is another event that is at 0158. Yeah, it's kind of every 3 seconds. Yeah, it's every 3 seconds. It's every 3 seconds. 55, 52, 49. Yeah, it's every 3 seconds. So our NPC is still thinking every 3 seconds, even if I change that value, probably because there is another event. I think there should be a behavior set advance, right? I think inside NPC brain. Come on. No? So this NPC tick is calling himself again, right? I'm just trying to remember how all this thing works, but I think when we execute it, yeah, it's just doing again NPC tick. So that's a simple one. So it's going back to here, right? It's going back to here. Every 200 milliseconds, it's going back to here. Now, there is this thing that is ready, but this one is only triggered at the beginning. Then is doing advance, and in advance is doing brain advance. Okay, fine. If last update and is not disabled. Okay. And here you see it does behaviors advance. So, yeah, absolutely. So it should be done every 200 milliseconds. Why the hell is not? Okay. It's doing it every 3 seconds. Let me recompile. Editor, because this thing is always tricking me all the time. Let me recompile from the editor, because I think that here my change was not taken into account in the editor version. It takes a bit, but we need it. We need this change to be in. But basically, as soon as that is done, we will have every 200 milliseconds the behavior execution, and the behavior execution will trigger, and the behavior execution will trigger the behavior advance, which is the one we had just seen, right? So inside NPC behavior advance, and so here is trying to understand which needs he has and what he needs to do. And the active behavior will be moved to advanced. So here we should see, I don't know if we really need to print all these out, but because this will be another big spam, huh? Do nothing, advanced delta. Let me just check when we are printing out all that stuff. I think it's here inside update needs, but yeah, it is. Advanced, active delta, need, decay, but if behaviors is different, current need is different. Why is printing this every 3 seconds? Why the delta is different? I think there is a mistake in the code. Yeah, for sure. Here there is a mistake in the code. Is impossible. There is printing out. I mean, if this code is correct, where our NPC should print the new need only if it's different, this thing is not working. This thing is totally not working. So maybe we found something, because so in this printout looks like all the behaviors, do nothing, fight, chase, fail to attack, fail, and blah 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 blah, all of those actually are in need to advance in the brain of the NPC. And I'm printing out as well the current need and the new need. So wait a second. Advancing. Ah no, sorry. This is not this one. This is not advancing. There is not advancing. There is advanced active delta, which is something that is not this printout, huh? It's not this. Why we are spamming all of that then? Advancing current delta. Where is this? Ah, this is here. There is here. Is inside behavior advance. Is inside behavior advance. Is inside behavior advance. Okay. I'm just wondering why we are running all of that stuff, considering my NPC is doing nothing. Sequence carrying step gets states. Each operation ready to run, or so if it's ready to run or if it's interrupted, we print out this, which is running, blah blah blah. Let me see if we had a running here. No, we don't. So this is never executed at the moment because the NPC is doing nothing. Else, if the sequence is operation running, then okay, which means that our behavior is kind of active but is doing nothing, right? He's actually calling the advance. He's actually calling the advance for all those behaviors. It is not very nice. So why is trying? Okay, why our NPC is trying to advance all this stuff? Like chase, for example, he's not chasing anyone, right? He's not chasing anyone, so the chase is actually scripted on him, but he's not chasing anyone, and still this stuff is triggering. And still this stuff is triggering. That is weird. Because I was up to the point that behavior advance was triggered if there is a need. But if there is no need, it should not trigger. I mean, if the need is 0, right? So look at this. Chase need 0. Fight need 0. Right? Flee need 0. So if the need is 0, why I need to call? Okay, I understand he's running because he's active in his mind, but because he knows how to chase. But if this is 0, why I should trigger advance? Why I should trigger advance? Then I hope that this one is not doing much. I mean, it depends on the script. So every script has its own thingy. So for example, if we take chase, and we go to advance, but I think there is a big performance problem because if I go to, it's never the right file open. If I go to NPC operations and I go, for example, in the chase operation advance, right? Well, actually, I should print out something, but this one is not printed out. Okay, guys, I think we need to debug it and see what it's doing because I'm confused about the fact that it seems that it's triggering this stuff, but then in the log I don't find it. Then in the log I don't find it. Advanced active delta is this one, right? Advanced active delta. No, it's not this one. Fuck it. Which one is this? Oh, it's this one. Advanced non-active delta. This one is printed out in the what the hell is this 0.003 delta, by the way? 0.003 delta. What the hell is that? Do we have it in the DK? Do we have it in the DK thingy? Because DK it is 1. This is a mystery, boys. Advanced active delta 0.003. Is this something wrong? I think we have some bad stuff going on here, but in theory this one seems that is not doing anything. It seems just that is like unnecessary printout for what I see. It just seems to be an unnecessary printout because it's at level 11. I think this one we should move it at 20. So if the delta is 0, I think we should not do anything or print anything. Okay, this one I don't know. This one is the one that I was, yeah. Okay, here we are. So like for example, delta is 0, decay need rate is 0, so 0 by 0 will be 0, and this need delta, apply the delta to the new need. You need delta desire, handle my mean desired limits, you need mean limits. But why is doing all of this if the delta is 0? Unit is 10. Delta desire is 0. He's checking the max. And he's exiting from this. But for some reason he's printing this thing. Where my delta is 0. And he's printing out. I think there is a mistake. So this kind of float syntax, I think is printing something weird. Why with the value of 0 is printing 0.003? And with the need of 0 is printing do you have an idea of why? They're just two normal floats. So these two are exactly the same. The problem is that it's coming with, or maybe when we arrive there, there is actually a delta. I don't think so, because then it means that in the beginning it should be 0, right? It's just a printout problem anyway. It's just printing out something in a weird way. It's always printing 0.003, whatever happens. No, but there might be a time in which it's not 003. Right? There must be a time. Why is doing this? 3F and 2F is just to say that I want 2 digits here and I want 3 digits here, but for some reason it is going to 003. I don't know why. If it's 0, it goes to 003 and not 002. I don't give a what. I will change it to 02. So, but I don't know why. I will change it to 02. But anyway, I don't know why he's trying to apply a delta if the delta is actually 0. I think that it should not be something that he's trying to do. I think it's pretty stupid to try to do this. Okay, went into a stupid state. And I think this one should be 20. I mean, if nothing is changed, I think we can probably say that if there is actually a delta in my decay, in my what is the delta coming from, by the way? The decay rate and delta. The delta, I think, is coming from the script. I don't remember what is the delta coming from. We have no documentation on this. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. We need this. We need the documentation of this method, boys. The delta is the time. The delta is the time. Float d 0.001 by delta. This is probably where my 003 is coming from, by the way. Why there is this 001, I have no idea. There is for sure a reason, but I have no idea what is this coming from. Why is this coming from? Behavior set advance, 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 brain advance. I'm sorry, this is not the most exciting time of our game development, I understand, but I need to get how this is working. Otherwise, here it is. So the delta is this thingy. So it's the when minus the last update. Okay. So basically the delta is the time that has been passed, the time that passed. Now the fact that it's 0.003 is a bit weird, because if it's 200 milliseconds, how it can be 0.003? it's 200 million, if it's 3, no, it's 3 seconds, actually. It's 3 seconds. So delta, I don't think I need the editor, right? No, I don't. Because why I'm going so deep into this? Because I think that there is a mistake somewhere. There is a piece of code that has been migrated wrong, and for some reason our NPC is reacting slower than it should. And I would like to understand why. But the only thing I see, I mean, my point is that if decay rate is 0 and need is 0, why the hell we are even bothering doing something here, right? Because all those things are useless. So I mean, all these printouts is just telling me which are the behavior that are active, but is not really doing anything. So I think it would be better for us to print out something and debug only if the delta has a value or if the decay has a value, but otherwise, it's totally useless. Let me move this to 20, please. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to print it out because all this are not doing anything. Now, in the application of the delta, yeah, it's a bit of a waste of printouts. I mean, of checks, but actually we could do that if the delta is. I still don't understand why it's 0.003 anyway. Because if it's in seconds, if the decay rate is 1 per second, the delta should not be 0.003. I think there is a problem in this calculation. The delta should be 0.3 or 0.2 actually. It should be 0.2. I don't understand why the delta is 0.003. Doesn't make any sense to me. Or even worse, if it's 3 seconds, this thing is broken, I think. I have the feeling this thing is broken. Brain advance, right? Is doing when, which is by the way, when is called by tick. I think this thing is broken somewhere. How is now calculated times 0? Is times 0 good enough? Yeah, I think so. Times 0 is in milliseconds or what? This is pretty bad. Because the problem is that if it's in seconds, it means that our NPC brain tick cannot be at 200 milliseconds. Otherwise, there will basically no difference between. Well, no, I mean, not there will be no difference. Is that after 3 ticks, it will do something. When 1 second is passed, right? Because if it's in seconds, that is pretty bad. Why seconds? Why seconds? Why seconds? Why seconds? Why seconds? This will never freaking work. Why did it time t? Why? I think I converted it wrong. You know, I think if I go back to the old code and I search the same function, it would not be in time t. It will be in CS6. Come on. In PC Brain Advanced. No? Let me check on this. Okay. Ah, you see? It was CS6, was not seconds. Was not seconds. So yes, I messed it up. Okay, good to know. Good to know. And this means that this function we find one problem. I don't know if it's our problem, but we found one problem. Definitely we cannot use time here. There's no chance we cannot use time. We have to use float, and we need to multiply it by 1000 in milliseconds, and I don't know what is the maximum time. What is the maximum time? Like if I'm in if I play 24 hours, if I play 1 hour, is 3,600 seconds, right? For 24 is 18,000, which has 1,000 milliseconds, so is 86 million milliseconds. So yeah, it fits into our float so good. So yeah, there is no problem. We can use the float. So yeah, there was a bit of a stupid check, but still a check. So this thing is completely wrong. Okay, we cannot use this. We need to use. How do I do this? I think that get world, it is not defined. But our NPC. But our NPC actor knows it. So if I do NPC actor get world, no? Can I do NPC actor get world or something? Yes, I can. Okay. So here we need milliseconds. That's the most important part of the game. And so this has to be a float. This has to be a float. Now, all this function, now, should we multiply it by 1000? I think so. Because again, we want to have the millisecond, even if, I don't know, because, when I go here, yeah, last update must be a float. All of this stuff must be float, or will never work. Or it will never work. I lost myself already. Now I see it. Go to definition. So please, it's inside the same class, boy. Okay, so also Brain Advance has the same problem. Now here it will do, so this will be a float. So NPC Brain Advance will be float, and Yeah, this change is a big change. I mean, it's not a big change from the programming point of view, but it's a big change from the impact that he has on everything else. But now when is a so if I do this float minus the last update, right? What happens? NPC type advance time t. Also, this one has to be changed. Fuck. Everything has to be changed, boys. NPC behave advance, NPC type advance. Oops. NPC type advance. This has to become float as well. I think this will cause like a cascade of changes. But anyway, we have to do this. Behaviors advance. This is already a float, or I change it? Now I want to see when he applies the delta, right? When he applies the delta, what happens? So this delta here, where is used? It's used here. That's why it was not working as 0003, because it was an integer instead of a float. Understand? That's why it was not doing it right. This was why it was not printing it right, because I think it was the time t was not the right one. So this active delta, so actually I can bring it back to 3. I don't know why I changed. I mean, I changed because I was not getting the problem, but now I get the problem. And apart from the fact that it is 20, which I would like to see it printed out maybe. It was actually 11 originally, but let me understand what it's doing with this. Minus delta multiplied by decay rate. Okay. Apply needed delta desired. It is already a float, so in this case I think it will work, because we will have, if decay rate is expressed in seconds, I think it will match. So decay 1 I think is in seconds. It decays 1 every second, I think, right? Okay, but I think that like this will already work much better. The point is if he compiles, because I think we have now a cascade effect on so much other stuff, because we changed some basic functions that are getting called by many other places in the code, and I think that is getting problematic. Let's see. But this was why the comparison was not working, because he was trying to execute. He was executing anyway. Every time the time was different, but the time was different only when it was changing the second, the full second. Let me see what I have in other places time 0, because I have the feeling that we may have a time 0 somewhere else. Yeah, for example, also this one. I mean, this one, okay, is take. I mean, this assumes that my time is greater than 1 second. By the way, this is 1 sec. Is 1,000, but it is not in milliseconds. This part is also wrong, by the way. Okay. I think this part is also kind of bugged. But we will see it later. Okay, it compiled. Incredibly, it compiled. So what I'm expecting to see now, I'm expecting my. So let's bring back the printout to a value. Yeah, instead of 20, I think originally it was 11, right? I can bring it back to 11 because now that we understood why, yeah, it was 11. Okay, let's bring it back to 11 for a second, okay? And then I will switch these freaking numbers to verbose, very verbose, very, very verbose, okay? So one day I will do. Or if any of you wants to do it, let me know and you can do it. Hello, Zway. Hi. We are deep into the freaking brain of the NPC. We are opening the brain of this guy so much. Now, let me. I think if I delete, where are all these freaking thingies? No. No. This is very stupid. You have to use this. I don't want any anything. You should just use that class that I just compiled, nothing else. Okay, let's try to launch it again. Now we are not in debug mode, but we don't care because we can look at the log, and I think the log is good enough. So I would like to see when I debug the NPC that it is actually thinking every 200 milliseconds properly. And so the brain, I don't know if it will work already, but definitely we are in the right direction. Definitely we are in the right direction. So if I debug this guy and I do debug NPC, now it's much better, you see. Now he's really thinking, this guy, even too much. You see? Now he's really spamming. Now he's really spamming. So now is every 200 milliseconds roughly. So active behavior do nothing is 871. The next one is, yeah, roughly. I mean, it's not exactly 200 milliseconds, but it is roughly 200 milliseconds. It's slightly more. So it's like 225, but it's okay. It's also printing out all this stuff. So, okay. Now this guy is thinking properly every 200 milliseconds, which is very nice. Now the problem is that apart from spamming my console so much, if I attack him, fuck, I didn't make myself vulnerable. I always forget. If I attack him, okay, he seems to be answering immediately, which is nice. He seems to be following me immediately, which is nice. He's trying to attack even if he's there, which is not great, but it definitely looks way more reactive than before. As soon as he reaches me, I really decided to stop everything. Maybe because he's out of range. No? Okay, but anyway, I think that now, apart from the mega spam that we are generating, which is like insane, every 200 milliseconds we are printing something, but we are, yeah, now we need to move back that printout to you see, it's printing delta 0 now, not 0.003. So now the thing is, now this is working much better. Now it is working much better. For some reason, our fight decayed so much. But probably it's correct, eh? It could be correct. I mean, it could be that our fight. You see, we had a need of 20. We had a need of 20, which hopefully became 19. No, it stayed 20 forever. It became 15. Is the game by 5? Maybe because 5 seconds passed. Yeah, it could be. I don't know why he did it only 5 seconds later, but I see a need 20 here for a fight at 16:58. And then I see a need of 15. Still a 16:58. So he changed here for some reason. And you see that he printed out this. No melee targeting range, going to chase. Okay, so here is understanding that he's out of range. Target out of range. And he's trying to chase me. And yeah, but I think now it's working much better. So chase is 45, fight is 15. I just don't understand too much what happens when he moves down the need. If it's based on time, like between here and here, I don't see any printout that he actually reduce my need. Do you see it? I don't see anything. Targeting, input chase, movement, run, behavior chase. No. This became 15 without without anything happening really. And then I guess from 15 it will become 10. Here is still 15. Wow, stays 15 forever. Still 15. Here is 10. Yeah, so it goes down 5 by 5. Fight. Fight. Decay is actually 0. Completion decay -1. Fight delta 20, weight 5. Okay. Anyway, the fact that fight is going down is okay. I mean, the fact that his need of fighting goes down is scriptable anyway. So we may decide what to do. But hello, H-Man 287. What I'm up to? I'm trying to make our NPC smarter. but at the moment, no. So the main thing we did was to increase the frequency of the NPC brain, because the frequency of the NPC brain was every 3 seconds, and so they were very stupid, right? Now I made it 200 milliseconds. There were some issue in the code that didn't allow it to really go at 200 milliseconds, but I fixed that. So now our NPC is actually thinking at 200 milliseconds. The thing that I would like to have printed out, but unfortunately I don't see it, is when my behavior, when my need goes down a bit. So when my needs get updated, I would like to know at a certain level of verbosity, you know. And I think it does it here. Apply delta. I think it's here, but yeah, new need, current need. Apply the delta to the new need. So I mean, more than actually delta desire. I mean, at the end, it's pretty simple. The problem is that we need to add, you know, one additional if, which is probably what we didn't want to do, because we wanted to keep this code as clean as possible, because this code is getting executed so much. Hello, Yudi Menbru. Ah, it's the same guy. Okay, you are in Twitch. Yeah, we're streaming in Twitch as well. It's very interesting to look. Oh, nice. Thank you. I thought it could be very, very boring, but if it's not, I think it's. I'm happy about it. I'm happy that it's not too boring for you to watch it. So, so what I would like to do, if the delta multiplied by this new decay rate is greater than 0, or let's say is different than 0, I would like to print out that something is happening. Otherwise, I don't want to print anything, you know, because I think it makes little sense. Now, the problem is that I will have to add a new if here, which is just a very, very quick one, because it's just comparing a number. But let's do this. Let's do if minus delta multiplied by that thingy is greater than 0. No, it's different than 0. Then we print out this line, okay? So we do this print out only if it makes sense to do it. And we do the same here. We do if delta multiplied by grow rate is different than 0. Okay. So in this case, we should spam a bit less, and we should see when our need is going up or down. Now, the reason why it went up or down is not so easy to find out, but I mean, why the need? So the need went up or down because some time passed. Update needs based on time. Right? But you see that is here actually. So if behavior current need is different than behavior new need, is printing this. So in theory we should have this advancing. Let me check. Do we have an advancing inside of this? Ah, yes. Is here already. The problem is that we were spamming so much that I was not even seeing it. The problem is that why I didn't see the one between 525 020. No, but it is not working. Because here it's showing me only these two, but actually the one no. No, because when it changed, maybe there is something else changing the behavior. Maybe there is something else that is calling update need. It should not be, but maybe there is another call somewhere. There is updating the need of the NPC. Should not be, but seems not, in fact. It seems not. The problem is that we saw that the fight was decaying, right? The fight was decaying between 20 and then it went to 15 and then 10 and then 5, you know? But was actually not displayed here. Here I only have these two printouts. From 0 to 20 and from 5 to 25. That's the only thing I have. But if I go down, my NPC is losing the interest of fighting. Because here the fight is 20. Right? Here the fight is 20. And at a certain point, down here, I don't know when, but it becomes 15, you see? It becomes 15. So why that printout didn't print? Why that printout didn't print? Schedule. There is another print. Use only if need is greater than 0. New behavior current need is less than 0, less than equal to 0. And new behavior applicable NPC state is NPC debugging. Dump NPC 3. What the hell is this thing? No active or applicable behavior. This is never printed out. How is it possible that I have this, but I don't have this? Because this thing is at 15. Could be. Okay. So I lost a bit myself, but the point was. The point was that here we are already printing out when the behavior is changing, but we are not printing it consistently for some reason. Because like here we changed it and we printed it was 15, but we did it when the chase came in, right? Not when the fight went down. Yeah, so Current, new, current, new. Okay, so we're printing out the current and the new, but these are all the same. Like 10. What is this symbol, by the way? Star. I think this one is the one that is active at the moment. And the 2 with the quest with the exclamation mark. What are these thingies? Come on, it's here, like 2 lines after that. If it's interrupted. If it's interrupted, he has an exclamation mark. So if he's interrupted, he has an exclamation mark. So we say that fight has been interrupted, do nothing has been interrupted, and chase kicked in. Okay, so he's starting to chase me. Which is nice, but I still don't understand why. Okay, let's do this. I changed that thingy, which I think is a good one. I changed that thingy to kick in only if there is a difference in delta. Okay, so we will see if I recompile now. We will see it only if there is a difference in delta. I don't remember where is the code, but not here. Here, right? So only if it's different than 0, so if there is a plus or minus to be applied, we will have this printout, right? Yes, only if there is a difference in time. So let's see. So now it should be way less verbose. I think we still get a bit of spam from we will still get a bit of spam, but not too much. So the server by itself doesn't spam anything unless we are enabling the debug on the NPC. Right? So the NPC is here. If I enable the debug, yeah, we're still spamming a bit. I mean, it's spamming the fact that there is an active behavior do nothing, and then it's spamming a do nothing advance. Do we need that? Active behavior do nothing. I think this one is useful, so we know which one is the active behavior. Now, why this one is still printed out if the delta is 0? We said to print it out only if the delta, the minus delta multiplied by need decay rate is different than 0. Right? So why is printing out something? Considering that the decay rate, considering all of this is 0, decay rate is 0, delta is 0, it multiplies one by the other, and the result is 0. So what the hell? I don't understand. Boys, I don't understand. What I'm missing? I'm missing something? Is this thing that needs another parenthesis to be executed properly? I don't think so. What the hell? Why is printing this? You should not, because the point is that I don't want spam. I don't want spam when I don't want spam when it's not doing anything. Otherwise, I mean, it's already hard to debug. If we also have spam from stuff that makes no sense, it will become impossible. So I'm trying to clean it. I'm trying to clean it to the point that is not printing if nothing is changing. But here, I don't understand why. If I have my minus delta multiplied by, okay, like here, you see, delta is 0, decay rate is 0. I go here. Okay, in this case, it skips it. So in this case, it's correct. So y was, okay, I think I need to remove this breakpoint, otherwise I will never be able to proceed. And at the moment, the server is not printing anything. So you see, at the moment, it's correct. So there is no need change in my NPC. There is no need change. So unless there is some... So all the NPCs at the moment, apart from the ones that are scripted to move, but at the moment is very little, are just standing still, doing nothing. And their brain is just saying, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing. It's just checking if something is happening, but in general it's doing nothing. Then when they receive a perception, they will start to tick or to do something. So now if I enable the debug NPC on this guy, we start to have this thing. Okay. Now the problem is that now how do I catch the right NPC? That's so painful. This will never happen, I think. Yeah, this will never freaking happen, because now I have like 20 NPCs, boys. The problem is that now what the fuck? He printed out something? He's printing it somewhere else then. Wait a second. Yeah, he's printing it somewhere else. He's printing it somewhere else. So there is another printout like this one. There is another printout somewhere, not here, similar to this one, which is getting printed somewhere else. Is it possible? I don't know. Yes, there is. There it is. Okay. So we have this thing that when is it running is anyway printing out. No, this I really don't need. This one should go to 20, so should go to very verbose. This one we don't need. This one we don't need. We need it only when it changes. Only when it changes. Now the point is that it will probably change. This is just in the advance, right? Yeah. Okay, it's good. So in this case, it will not spam this line anymore. Yeah, it's still a bit debatable, the fact that he's still thinking a lot to do nothing. But okay, that's kind of another thing, the fact that we have scripted a do nothing behavior, which is the base. So this one I don't really need if you want to have it at the end, but I mean the do nothing behavior is really doing nothing, but it's basically asking the NPC to stand and play the wait animations. But you know, we really need that. I don't know if we really need this. I think it's just consuming CPU cycles for nothing, because this behavior is actually doing stuff in the CPU. Right? It's continuously cycling on the do nothing behavior, which I don't know if we really want. I don't know if we really want. At least we don't want to print it out, okay? But yeah. So every 200 milliseconds, every NPC in the game is executing the do nothing thingy, and still don't know if it's a good idea, but it's okay. That one we can solve later on, you know. Now let's stick to the reaction time. Let's stick to the reaction time of the NPC, and I want to see when my fight, when my need goes down, right? When my need goes down. So there must be somewhere. Yeah, for sure is in the behave. So it should be a place. In theory, it should be inside apply delta. In theory, should be here, right? I just don't know why in this function we don't have a kind of a check at the beginning that says if the delta is 0, just bail out. You know, I mean, if the new need, because the main thing that we do here is new need plus delta, but if the delta is 0, there is nothing we need to do, you know. So why there is not here at the beginning if delta desired different than 0? Because he's doing this piece of code so much. All this if is doing continuously. Then it's keeping all the content, but you see that this apply delta need, we never catched it, right? We never catch this apply delta need. This is exactly what I would like to see. No, sorry. Is here the delta need. In theory is here. If the delta desire is different than 0, yeah, this is the thing. But why? Yeah, our issue is that this thing is not getting, is this if is not working. I don't know why. For some reason that is not properly working. Need decay rate delta multiplied by. I mean, to me, now I don't want to break. I mean, this code was working, okay? It was working well, so I don't want to break it. But to me, we should just do a nice if this thing is different than 0. I mean, no, sorry. If this thing is equal to 0, we just bail out this whole thingy. I mean, why we should execute code if we will do nothing, right? If we will do nothing, unless this is needed in initialization, because we go through this and we need to set it to 0. But I don't think so. My question is why we are not seeing this change when the fight behavior goes down. It is very strange. Let me launch it again. Now we will try to find. So now we should have way less spam. Okay, so I should print out only when something happens. Apart from the do nothing, do nothing, do nothing, okay, and the do nothing will stay there, which is okay. Right, which is this guy. But apart from that, it should never print out something unless a behavior is really changing. Okay. So I put this guy in debug. Okay, you see, it's only printing out. Yeah, but the do nothing advanced delta is still there. Why is still there? Why we still have do nothing advanced active delta? If I moved it to 20, right? I moved it to 20. I'm debugging 15. Right? I'm debugging 15. So it should not, unless it's even in another place. Let's say current project. Fuck, it's even in another place. I know, I see it. Yeah, but here it should never go here, right? Exactly. It never goes inside of this. This is 20, so I should not print it out. Why? Why still printing it out? Boys! 1143. Recompile is recompiled properly, so I don't know why is not. Why is still printing this out? That is very strange, guys. I mean, if I go here, obviously it stops there, but let me check something. If I put a breakpoint here, active behavior do nothing. If I do this, now you see it's not printing it. Ah, now it did it. What the hell? Now it did it. I mean, depends on the NPC for sure, but the only NPC. Can I have NPC name? Can I have NPC? Okay, NPC Fighter 5. Okay, the one that we have selected is Fighter. The one that we have selected is Fighter 1 or 2. So that's probably why. But why? Why is printing it? I'm a bit surprised. There is Fighter 2. And it's not printing it. There is Fighter 1. By the way, I should also print the name of the guy. I don't know. Because at the moment I'm not printing the name of the guy. Fighter 1. Fighter 1 is triggering. So strange. Fighter 1 is triggering, but I set the debug to 20. Is this just a compilation shit that is not doing what I want to do? Come on. Why? Printf ulog. Yeah, no, boy. I know, but you should not arrive here. You should not arrive here. You should not arrive here. The NPC has a debug level of 15 at the moment. Wait a second. Wait a second. Do I have any? Do I have anything that is hard coded? I don't want that. I have maybe something that I left as a test. Debug level. No, debug level here is not used at all. Where I do the check for the debug is inside this macro function, where I do if npc is debugging, and inside is debugging, I'm checking if highest active level debug greater than 0. Sorry, why is not I'm a bit confused on why our definition of is npc debugging is not using why this thingy is not using the debug level as an input, but is just checking the highest active debug level is greater than 0 and it's printing out anyway. But then the point is boys, I think there is another error here. I think we found another mistake. I think we found another mistake. What the fuck? I think we found another mistake in the porting, because I was expecting this function to trigger only if the npc debug is greater than that value. Now is not, but is triggering anyway whatever is the debug level greater than 1, greater than 0. So now if that's real, then means that any other npc debug has the same problem. But I'm pretty sure, boys. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 100%. I don't know, 100. I don't know. But I'm very sure that we had some 20 that was filtered out when I changed it to 20, right? I'm pretty sure it was filtered out. You remember all the stuff that was printed before, where we had all the, now unfortunately it's no more in the log, but where we had all the fight, advance, skipping needs, skipping, all the skipping, right? What was all the skipping? Reaction skipping, perception, you see, all of this. But probably this was only on the React. Huh? Because this one, when I moved it to 20, it didn't. If the bug in 20. This code is so stupid. Why does the check 2 times? Why does the check 2 times? Why does the check 2 times? Why we are not using is debugging that particular level or above? I don't understand. I think there was a mistake in the beginning. What I mean is that this macro is not checking the actual level. Unless, wait a second, unless it was inside the printf and I removed it for simplicity. Possible. In that case, it would be more reasonable. Let me see. Why remote debug? Debug level. Okay. So I greatly simplified the code when I ported it, and I did a kind of a small mistake, and so now it's not checking that anymore. Okay, good. Okay, so sanity is restored. We are not crazy. That's good. So actually it is not checking this. So now the point is, why it's just not doing. So we have the debug level, okay? We have the debug level, and we have in NPC debugging, we have the highest active debug level, which is set, I would say, to 20. So I think would be pretty easy. So the debug level must be less or equal. So it's exactly this check, right? So I think we can move this in our printf and everything will be easier. It's still a bit redundant. I mean, our functions, this function is still a bit redundant, I have to say. Because it's checking if it's debugging, and then it's checking again the debug level. Okay, maybe this check is quicker than the other one, but I'm doing 2 checks, I'm doing two checks. I'm not a fan of this code anyway, but so if the debug level that is given, like 15, if the debug level that is provided is less or equal to the highest active debug level. Actually, this one is the one that is set on the NPC. So if the NPC is set as 15 and my debug level is 20, I don't want to see it. No, I want to see it. So why is less or greater? It should be exactly the opposite. If my debug level is greater than what I have set on the NPC, right? No, wait. Debug level is the one I'm setting on the function. So it's coming from the function. So if I say this printf should be printed only if debug level is 20 or above. Because this one is set on the NPC. So, so I think you should print it out only in this case, right? The NPC says everything that is, let's say 10, everything that is 10. So I'm filtering everything. So I'm set at 10. So I'm filtering everything up to 10. I don't want to see anything above 10. Okay. So this is the field. This is the minimum threshold of the NPC. So if I go in with a printf that is 20, 20 should be higher than this to print it out. 20 should be, fuck, I'm getting confused by this. 20 is coming in with the printf and I'm saying I am the printf of 20. My NPC is only 10. Should I print it out or not? I should not print it out. So I should why this thing is confusing me so much? Why this thing is confusing me so much? Maybe because it's too late, it's midnight. Boys, if you have any questions, just ask, okay? I see you're very quiet, but if you have any question of what I'm doing, what we are doing in general, just ask me, okay? So 20 is greater than 10. If 20 is greater than 10, which is true, print it out. No, it's the opposite. Exactly. If is equal up to that level, print it out. Okay, so here we have it like this. So this one will be printed out. Now we still have a bit of a double, you know, because we have one here and we have another check if it's debug. So it's a bit of a duplication. And then I've seen that in the code somehow, some way, we also have stuff like this. If you have seen it, it was like if debug is 20, then there was another check. So there is a complete duplication. So I think those thingy, like this one, if who's debugging 20, then NPC debugging, whatever. So there is a complete duplication. So the check should be done here. I don't understand why we did something like that. This who is debugging with a number makes absolutely no sense. I mean, it's a duplication. We're duplicating the code every time. So it should just be NPC debug 20. I think we should search, through the code all this ed is debugging and remove it. But anyway, okay, let's move on. Let's move on. So we fixed that bug, which is nice because that was definitely a bug. Hello, Hulla. I don't know if I can understand what you said. You don't have any question, okay. But be careful. Don't do them. You mean don't do the NPC too clever. Okay. Yeah. No, I want them to be very clever. But yeah, because you are saying that then it will be a problem to fight, huh? To fight them because they will be too smart. No, yeah. Well, I think we can implement certain level of so I think that the point is that now they have this set of what is it? Now we have this set of things that they can do, we can do, and they can do. But then to make them more stupid or more dangerous, we have a lot of parameters to work on. So for example, we can decide the reaction time, and the reaction time will make a lot of difference. So if they react like immediately, or if they have a bit of a delay, in reacting, that will make it so much different when, as a perception of you as a player, if that is going, well or not. If the NPC is smart or not, that will make so much difference because reaction time is important. Okay, now I think we have changed. We fixed two pretty important bugs, which is nice. It's something that I wanted to fix, so it's very nice. Now we can go back to actually seeing what the NPC is doing and what the NPC is thinking. Okay, and now the level of spam on the log should be minimal. Minimal. It should only print out stuff when we actually have something changes in the mind of the NPC. It is only when it should print out something. And I want to see that when the fight behavior goes down, is actually printing the right stuff. At the moment we are in debug mode, so the printout is actually in this small window at the bottom, which I guess you don't see too much because it's very small, I understand, but I will tell you what I see. So I have to go, so first of all let's debug the NPC, and debugging the NPC I only see active behavior, see, so now it's working, now the check is working, so is not printing out. Well, we can do a check. I can do debug npc slash debug npc debug npc target, and then I can say 20. So no, I didn't change it. Let me see. Debug npc target 15. Okay. I want to do debug. Okay, I wrote it wrong. Debug npc target 20. So now the debug is 20, and so we should have more stuff printed out. Yes, in fact, you see the do nothing now is printed out. Okay, so the system works. Okay, the system works. So let's go back to 15 because we don't want too much spam, and we decided that 15 is the right level at the moment. So I go here, I go in combat mode, I attack this guy, and we see what happens. why we had this kind of I don't know. Let's let this guy run. Okay, let the code run. Execute percept. There were a lot of debug thingies, but let's see what happened. Okay, let's see what happened. So at the moment, let's see if I can put it here. We will analyze only that piece, okay? We'll analyze only that piece. So I'm attacking. We are setting combat mode to this guy. Oh, by the way, this printout is wrong, but anyway, okay. We set the combat mode to him. I'm starting to attack. He's still doing nothing at this point, but here I'm actually attacking. This is the attack resolution, right? I got some practice in some skills, okay, who cares? I'm attacking him. I do some damage. I did 50 damage. So he got a lot of perception. He got the attack perception and he got the damage perception. Now the attack perception should have got already before. No, I think is the same. I think is the damage perception is an addition. You know, is superseding. Is superseding the attack perception. So he's getting the damage perception. And up to here is all fine. He lost HP from 700 to 650. He's reacting to damage. He's adding 20 to the behavior fight. So he realized he wants to fight, which is very nice. He's adding 100 to the hate list. Oh, finally, this log is readable, boys. We achieved the goal of having this log readable. He's putting me on the hate list. In fact, you see that I am on this 8 list. Unfortunately, I'm invisible and invincible because I forgot to freaking click on the thingy. But okay. He's setting the target to me. At this point, he's trying to attack me, but considering I'm invisible and invincible, he will not do anything. Okay, but it's pretty good up to here. It's pretty good up to here. It's pretty good up to here. He's scheduling some combat events, so he will probably try again. But considering I'm invisible, he will never. Yeah, this is a problem. Fighter 1 starts attacking with stance full defensive, so we still have the stances. We still have the stances in. Now his weapon is decaying a bit because he's used it for attack. His armor, my armor is decaying, or his armor, I don't know, is decaying because he's using it. Now he's getting also the attack perception. Okay, this may be a mistake. Because in theory, he should got only the damage. In this case, he's getting the damage perception, and after he's getting also the attack perception, which is a bit of a duplicate. But okay. He's adding 20 to the behavior fight. He's adding 5 to the hate list for me, so I go to 105. I'm still invisible and invincible. And then he's switching to fight. Okay, good. I think all of this is perfect. Now I want to see. Yeah, he doesn't see me, you see. He has the issue that he doesn't see me because I'm invisible. So he's saying that in the range that he has, he's not seeing anyone. So he has a problem. But now I'm making myself visible. And if the server is still running, yes, he's running. I may try to attack him again one time and see what happens. Well, let me dump the NPC now. Let me see if I do dump NPC. And then we take the dump and we see what he's thinking. At the moment, he's thinking do nothing because the fight went down. Okay, so the behavior fight went down during the time that we were just debugging. Okay, but it's okay. So he's no more interested in fighting me, but I'm attacking him again. And apart from this, you must face the enemy, which is so weird. But yeah, he's trying to attack me back. So He's immediately trying to attack me back. I don't know what is this debug thingy. I don't know what is this debug thingy. We had so many debug here. So he was trying to attack me, now he's trying to chase me. So now in theory he should move between chase and attack continuously, right? You see, the only problem I see is that when he's chasing me, he doesn't attack again. I don't know why. That is so weird. Why? Okay, let's see what happened. Because something happened for sure. So it is the bug that we had already. Chase is still chasing me for some reason, but actually he's in range. So why still chase? Because he didn't. Still chasing me? I think we just have a problem of distance, you know. So like at a certain distance, yeah, exactly. See, when I go closer, he start to attack me. When there is a kind of a place where is too far from the chase. I don't know where he thinks he's close to me, but in reality he's not close enough. So that's okay. But if I go close again, let me dump the NPC again. But I think I know what is the problem. There is a kind of a. So if I dump the NPC, at the moment, what is doing? Fight went down a lot, yeah. But I don't know why fight is decaying so quick. Why fight is decaying so quick? When he's fighting, I think we miss the printout of when the fight is actually decaying. Because active behavior is fight, you see. So up to here, everything is fine. Active behavior is fight. He founds me. He tries to melee, so to attack. Range per se, got me in range. No, so okay, he says found no hated entity. Okay, I think he has an issue with the range, and when he faced the range, the fight behavior is going to 0, or is going to 5. I don't know. It's getting lower and lower. Found no hated entity. This is very strange. There is a transition. Where for some reason it doesn't see me anymore, or it doesn't find me anymore. There is a point somewhere. Find no hated entity. Get most hated. 8 list, get most hated. So there is a point here where it misses me. This get most hated, I think I ported already, was okay. It's just finding nearby characters. Yes, it's just finding nearby people. But then there is quite over reasoning here. Yes, okay. Invisibility, invincibility, but it should be fine. 8 amount. Get position. Don't include region if it's not defined object within region. Skipping since outside region. I think this one should never happen, right? We don't get this printout. No. But something happened here. In 1 second, roughly 1 second, it went from fight to no hated entity. Now this code is pretty old. This code has been ported pretty much as it is, and in fact there is still the concept of sector and such, but I removed all of this. Hate list. I think we need to debug this part and see when he gets here if get most hated. I mean, when he arrives here, I should see if in this what happened in this function, because for sure this is returning an empty character, so he's not seeing me anymore. He's not seeing me anymore. But the search is done in a very simple way. The search is done only by range of all players around. So unless I disconnect, he should find me super easy. So the fact that he's not finding me is very strange. The fact he's not finding me is very strange. How do we debug this? How do we debug this? I can put in an easy way. I can put a debug here. I can put a breakpoint here, and if we never reach this, means that this finder by character is failing. Okay. Okay. I think that is good enough. So let me try to attack him again. Boom. This might face the enemy. It's so stupid. Okay, here. Oops. Here. No, this one I don't need. I need the other breakpoint. Okay, hate list. You see, here I'm in the hate list. So, okay, now it's triggering 1 million times. It's very hard to debug because is in this thing is doing it every second, every 200 milliseconds is doing this. Let me see if I can reproduce it by like going a bit farther or closer. Like now it seems that he's still, well, he tried to attack me once, but then again I think I'm in the hate list. Let me see if hate list is empty. H. By the way, what the hell is this piece of code? Okay, there's only one guy. There is only one guy in the list, and he's trying to find the guy with the same PID of all the characters that are close to me. Okay, it makes sense. I mean, it's not the best, but it's okay. You see now here he found me. He found me, and he's checking. Yeah, but anyway, he found me. Right? He found me, and he's returning a character. Yeah, exactly. He's returning me. So in this case, he found me. Yeah, found most hated, you see? So in this case, he found me, no problem. The point is, why after some time, forcing the client time it out because we were debugging, but why after some time he stops? I mean, it doesn't find me anymore. I think what we can do, we can try to reproduce it just by moving a bit and see Let me make it vulnerable. Debug NPC. Now I attack him, and okay. It is because I relogged. So I think he has an issue in the hate list. It didn't remove the character that was disconnected from the hate list. So it is crashing the server somehow. Yes. It's crashing the server because this entity, the previous entity, doesn't exist anymore. And it's crashing on. I don't know what it's crashing on, but entity is kind of valid. But anyway, it is kind of a special case. Okay, when I reconnect, he was fighting with me. I mean, obviously we will have to fix it, but it's not something that I want to fix now. Okay, so fuck it. Let's just reconnect. Let's just stop the server and reconnect. I don't want to, you know. But it is a bug. Eh? It should, if I disconnect, it should automatically remove me from the hate list. And in any case, it should not crash. While here, for some reason, I think one of these parameters was empty, like hname or I don't know. Probably object. Object was probably empty. This obj was probably empty. But I think it's fine. Okay, let's try again. We have to understand if the bug is reproducible. And I think we have a problem of distance between the range of the weapon and the actual distance of the chase. So we need to be sure that the distance of the chase is shorter of the range of the shorter of the range of the weapon, or anyway there is a kind of a admittance. I don't know how to say, but there is some flexibility, you know, in accepting or not accepting or not accepting the hit. You know, I don't think you need to be too close. You know, I mean, I think we can. Okay, he's attacking me. He's trying to follow me. If I move like this, it follows me in attack. Apart from the animation, which sucks. I know. Attack animation sucks. But like you see now, he already stopped attacking me. So why stopped attacking me? I just moved a bit forward, bit forward, bit forward, bit forward. And like now he's not attacking me, he's not doing anything. Dump NPC. I did a dump so we can see. He still has me, but the hate is only 5. I think it's the out of range, you know. I think after a certain out of range events, I just go below his interest. So he's not. I'm not more interesting to him enough, and the hated goes down so much. Which can be okay, yeah. I think it can be kind of okay. I mean, if it's only a matter of well, first of all, there is this thing: you are too tired to attack. It is kind of interesting. Maybe he's getting tired of attacking due to stamina. This could be, huh? PS attack effect. Attacker ID. Attacker ID. I don't know why this is log temp, by the way. I think we have a better log for combat. No, we have. Don't we have a log combat? Yes, we have a log combat. I don't understand why that is. We have log combat, attacker ID, combat stuff. I mean, all of this should be log combat, not log temp. But anyway, this is a minor thing. But our problem was here, right? Our problem was event get attacker, you are too tired to attack. And then we are printing out, so we are giving the message to the guy, you are too tired to attack. Well, this one arrived to me. Okay, this message arrived to me. I don't know if you can see it, but it is written here, you are too tired to attack. So this message arrived to me. And then there is a log, too tired to attack, attacker stamina, physical drain, attacker blah blah blah. Combat manager stop attack. Okay, I don't know if this stop attack has been ported properly. Maybe it is the problem, you know, that for some reason I don't know why inside PS attack we have all the logs which are log temp instead of log combat. I don't get it. I think it was a mistake of some kind. But all these logs should be let me just clean it a bit because I think it's a bit stupid that we have so log temp should become log combat, I would say, in all this file. Now I can check adding PSU combat event, yes, adding UPS combat event, yes, you are to start attack, yes, UPS combat event, UPS combat and attack. Okay, we get them all. Okay, we changed them all, so at least they are in the right category. But I was saying I'm not sure if this stop attack, is actually stopping the combat also for the other guy. I mean, it should not, but maybe there is a mistake there, because you see, for sure we are executing this. No, we're not executing. Yes, we are executing this. Stop attack. If your stamina is too low, you're stopping the attack. So stopping the attack, what is exactly doing? To do, I'm not sure if this is a YSD after all. Space may not be offensive. Okay. So it's switching. Interrupt spect casting, attacker get attack. He's setting my mode to peace. So I think it's fine. I mean, if he's doing it only on me, no problem. If he's doing it on the NPC, that could be definitely the problem. But I think he's doing it only on me. But it could be that the NPC is getting tired in the same way, huh? Too tired to attack. You are too tired to attack. Is this happening for me and for him? No, it's happening only for one guy. C1. I don't know if I'm C1 or C7. I have no idea. C7, set mode message piece in character 1. Fighter 1 stops attacking. You see now? There is this message which is very clear, which is saying fighter 1 stops attacking. That is not good. So stop attack. I think we can put a breakpoint here and see where it's coming from, you know? And see where it's coming from. Okay, let's try again. Oops. There it is. Stop attacking. Where is coming from? Where is this call coming from? It's coming from if attacker get mode, character mode combat, stop attack. What the fuck? What the hell? Go attack command for entity. Do we see this? Yes. Got normal attack for entity 6 to 147. Okay, nice. Maybe if we put the names would be a bit easier, but fine. So we got this attack. Then we are checking if the attacker is alive, and I would say it is. Unless I died. Maybe I died. Because it's doing damage to me, eh? Well, in this case, I think he missed. In this case, he did 0 damage. Here is him attacking me. And the result of the attack is freaking nothing. Also here, he missed me again. So no, I would assume I was not dead. Because at the moment we don't have a death animation, so we will not see if my character dies, you know? We will not see it, but... So the target has been cleared, so stop the attack. The target has been cleared. So this is not the case, because you see the target is bad. It is Cran 7, so Cran 7 is me. So it's not coming through this, but it's going in this else, and then saying, it's saying attacker set target object. But this thing I don't understand. What is this thing? What is this thing? If the attacker is in combat mode, stop attack. Why? Why? So I don't understand what is this thing. Why if the attacker is in combat mode, stop the attack? Don't understand, boys. I don't understand this piece of code here. What I can check if there was an error in the porting somehow. If I cut off some parts or something, because it's very strange that if else, if not target, okay, if not target, I understand you have to stop it. If you have a target, you set the target, Because the target has been changed. Because the target has been changed. And so you stop attacking the previous one. Okay, fine, but then you start to attack the new one. Okay, I think I understand what is this, because this is probably related to the fact that you change your target. By the way, it didn't change target at all, so I don't know why it's saying that it's changing it, but this could be the case when you're changing target. You see this set target, so but then so stop attack. Okay, let's assume that that's the reason. If that's the reason, is putting the character in mode peace. Okay, so this guy will not, the NPC will not automatically attack again. Fine. But then after that, it does again attack someone, you know. So in theory it should restart. Exactly. In theory it should restart with a new attack. Okay? Ignore, please. Okay, thank you. So attacker set default attack ID. Combat manager attacks someone. So here he should start attacking someone again. Assuming that this check works. Yes, because he's saying he's now attacking. So it's like he changes target. And he starts to attack again. The only problem I see is that I don't remember if this attack someone is actually one single attack, or if it's repeated attacks, you know. So that's the only thing that I don't know. Where is the stop attacking? Not the tired, this one. It's not in this log. Why? It was in this log. It was in this log 100%. Okay. Anyway, I think we lost it. But it seems that it could be that after he stops the attack, because for some reason he understood that he has changed his target. I don't know why, but maybe he went slightly out of range, you know, and so he's redoing the target, which is okay. But when he restarts the attack, this attack someone is probably not enough to start a new stream of attacks. Attack someone. Well, it's actually setting him in combat mode. Switch stance from blade to defensive. Well, there is a lot related to stances, but actually this one should be the right one, because it should start the attack properly. Okay, I think I finished my time. It's too late. I need to go. But I think that the point here is to reproduce better that situation where he stops the attack, and understand why. But I don't have the time to do it now. Understand why he's not restarting the attack. But from the rest, it seems to be working okay. But apart from that, it starts to be. I mean, it seems that it's working fine. Okay. So with that said, I really need to go, but I think we did some good progress. We fixed some bugs. We improved the speed of the NPC mind. We improved the debug. We fixed some logs. We did a lot of stuff. So I think I'm happy about that. I will check in SVN everything I did, and meanwhile I do that, I will say goodbye, and I will speak to you the next time. So goodbye, boys.